Hello. How are things? Where are things? For that matter, why are things? That's a great question. I am, as it turns out, we're not going to be streaming later today, so I'm streaming this now. Because life, you know, life does that thing that it does. I'm not sure what we call the thing that it does, but it does it. This evening I am, we are repping Ramblers tonight. The fictional chain of restaurants, possibly only a single restaurant. I don't know. I haven't asked. In a TTRPG podcast, put out by Off the Table. We are also repping a coffee company apparently run by Daleks, but that's just because I have not finished drinking my vegetables yet today. Thought it was vitally important for the Daleks to deliver my vegetables. It's important. Anyway. Hi. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Alright. You know, my sun, my moon, my tired, pissed off stars mug. Nice. Things are because if they were not, they would be out of a job. I am reading here. Yes, well, that's... There's a philosophy somewhere that I remember reading about ages ago that had something to do with things in the universe existing toward individual and knowable purposes, but I can't remember what that is, so I'm not going to try and dig for it at the moment. Still, if everything has a job, that's an excellent question. Exist or you're unemployed. That's what they tell, apparently, that animus of reality that we fight against in an effort to try to become that version of ourselves that we always wanted to, or are trying to, at least, remain as much that version of ourselves that we that we would like to without losing whatever we can. Okay, enough weird half philosophies. I'm going to let us go forth into this delightful apocalypse, potentially? Sure. It's really a dystopian game, but things have just gotten upended in it, so we'll see what happens. This is quite possibly the last segment of this. I don't know, but, you know, just from the timing of things. Okay. This roughly is where we left off. Where we are to go home and find Johnny's bombs because, Johnny Bolton, the former, as it turns out, we find out in this DLC, the former head of counterintelligence for Wellington Wells, apparently has gone and planted bombs around our house, and we have to go and collect the bombs to prevent the house from exploding. But then we might perhaps use those bombs for other things. Most notably getting rid of Verloc, which is like the main problem, as I referred to in the monster that Victoria created. For those of you just joining us, we are playing Victoria. Victoria Bing, who is just realizing the horrors that she has unleashed on everyone and is now trying to undo them. Okay. Let's see, I think, so I saved it probably just before I took the upgrade to, that I needed to take here, which is Silent Step. Finally getting that. You're more difficult to detect when walking. That will probably be very helpful. At least be able to get around faster. Okay. Now let's see where we are. Glass bottles. Okay. I wish there were a map for this of all of the DLCs. I think this one. Oh, look, plague carriers. There he is. Okay. Okay. Wastrels, or so they are called. Hi. It's not their fault that they basically become zombies. Well, we can give it a try. Let's not get caught on the steps here. Excellent. Alright, and... Alright. Good, good, good. Handy, handy, very handy. Nothing to see here. No? Alright. Why do we have to head home through plague territory? Is it because we got here through plague territory? Is that what happened? I don't remember being here. Plague. I am a little concerned about the water. I can't imagine why. Where are we? Are we at half? We're at half. Let's go ahead and get back up to full. Thursday, Friday, I mean, I have... Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. No, I don't know. I just do this whenever. I do this whenever. Also, we're not streaming tonight. So, I've been doing this whenever recently because it has not been possible to maintain a regular schedule so much, given various medical stuff that's been going on. And so I'm just kind of easing back into it. And I'm getting to the point now, I think, just now, finally, perhaps, he says, crossing his fingers and knocking on wood, that I will be able to do stuff more regularly. Hey, how you doing? Hello. Yes. Oh, you know what I heard? Is that apparently this thing that... I had imagined that they were speaking Welsh when I first came across these folks, and you know, because they're speaking this strange language. When they catch plague, they start doing that. Turns out it's Beowulf. Apparently, someone actually went in and you know, transcribed what they were saying, and it's apparently excerpts from the Epic of Beowulf. Yes, case in point, this is probably, I guess, from the Epic of Beowulf? I don't know. Perhaps I shall look it up at some point. Perhaps. Will I remember? Doubtful, but you never know. Okay. Oh, hey, man. Should probably sneak. Sneaking will probably help a little bit. Just a tad bit. Anything interesting over here? Yes, no? Possibly. Okay. Oh, hey. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so the water hurts when you step on it, apparently, so that's been the correct instinct. To not get involved with the water. Healing bomb, yay. Which they seem to be fine running through. Guess we're taking the long way home. Whatever way is left open to us. Oh crap. Ah! How are we doing? 65. Well, that detector is out. Is this the same canal? Wait, no, I don't... It might be? I think this is the same canal we were at before. They're not close enough together for me to get both of them at once. No, I don't want to deal with him whilst under here. That won't do it all. Okay. We must see... Yes, I know. I know. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you should just go up the far side. It's the quickest way home. And I would agree. Except that would mean that I don't get to see everything. Yeah, this is the same area, but they've been redecorating, it seems. Way through has been closed off. Just been redecorating a little bit. Knocking over the poppers, the police summoning things. Police booths. Oh, wait a minute. Was that grill there before? They have added metal grills somehow also. A little bit more redecorating than we thought might occur here. Yeah, they don't want you climbing up on the roofs here. I can still see that there. It's a little too far away. And I don't think they don't want us to climb on everything this time. That's okay. Yeah, I feel as though it's going to be, path home's going to look a tad different. Mind your manner, get inside. Okay. Of course the constabulary is waiting for me. Good thing I used to play hide and seek in the flower bushes. Yeah. Okay. Now we just have to figure out where the manor is. Probably the other way. No, let me through! Okay. Okay. Looking through. I just still have to marvel at the attention to detail at this point, because when the game was released, the graphics were not quite this detailed. It kind of makes me want to, oh hey, that's not a bad likeness. I wanted Miss Victoria Bing to come in for a lovely cup of tea and chat with constabulary. Reward offered. Yes. Oh, we're very wanted. It's nice to be wanted. Is it? Well, maybe not like this. Kitchen is the victor is the victory. Is the something to victory. I can't read it. The key to victory. They just put a key there, and you need to connect that bit yourself. The key to victory. Grow your vegetables. Okay, look. Okay, look. So they have a poster up that says grow your vegetables, right? So the fact that everyone forgot to grow their vegetables, even with these posters up reminding them, tells us something. Because apparently the
constabulary is out in force. Strange to be on their bad side.
I know, right? Bread is life. Yeah, I mean the vegetables are. The thing is that they. Apparently the flowers were supposed to be prettier, so they grew those instead. Alright, let's go sneak up on some constables. Lost they. How on earth did a downer get V-meat, I wonder? They've been eating our food. Look. Oh no. Should have done this while they were speak with you for a moment, Constable, please? Hey, Vern Jones, it's me again. This is what, the 5th time I've rendered you unconscious in this game? Who knows? Alright. Back to the perimeter. I have no idea. I have to actually get a handle on where things are here, so as I can figure it out. Okay, this is her house. Okay, yes. As I recall, if they haven't changed it, there are many, many flowers in front of her house. There were also quite a few Bobby patrols, even when she was not a downer. Here's that tree. Okay, where are you? Okay, let's one at a time. One at a time. I remember it being a rather sizable house. My goodness, what's happened? Just looking around, you know. You have to see what's where. This tree is the one where there were bees for a while. Okay. Let's go ahead and deal with this one. They have shuttered her front doors. Okay. There's a guard over here, wasn't there? Oh, he was standing there. Okay. Just trying to figure out the lie of the land. No! Let's get inside! Grimshaw? Good to see you. How are you doing? Okay. Alright. There's a rope up there, which we shall perhaps attempt to ascend to soon. Although that's the thing, we can only really hit it from the side. We're too low down here, but maybe in a bit we shall not be. Okay. Side door also closed. Greenhouse? Yeah. Can we actually get it from here? We might jump up and get it. Before we try that, though, let's deal with this a wee bit. I don't remember if the greenhouse actually... Oh, hey! We can use that. Let's use that in a moment. First, though... let us satisfy our our urge to render people unconscious. Okay, Gainsborough, your turn. It'll all be over in a moment. See, isn't that better? Alright. Here we are. Everything is shuttered.
I suppose I'll never live here again. Not sure I deserve to either.
Don't beat yourself up. It's something any half-witted megalomaniac would have done. Anyway. Yeah. Ah! Nearly missed the window. Okay. Why am I climbing back out? Inside. There we go. So I was trying to close the window. Doesn't matter. Alright, I don't know if they've left any constables inside the house, but I don't think so, because they can't get in and out. Of course, what do these things matter? Well, at least they haven't gone off yet. I can thank Johnny enough for that. Okay. Note. Joy facts! Everyone's talking about Joy, the fabulous new wonder drug from Haworth Labs. You've probably heard that you must take your Joy immediately. I have heard that frequently. Here are some answers to some commonly posed questions about the drug. Is it true that Joy has a bitter aftertaste? Not true! Joy, available in chocolate and soon coconut, has a pleasingly sweet flavor that lingers on the tongue. So hang on, wait. Is coconut the second flavor? Because for some reason I thought coconut was recent. I thought it was chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. I thought those were the flavors because that's, we see brown, white, and red in the booths. But maybe that flavor that's the white Joy is coconut. Interesting. Okay. Does Joy cause conjugal dysfunction? Not true! Joy users remain maritally vigorous while on their regime. And on the contrary, some rare cases of priapism have been noted in avid users. Priapism. Priapism? Do I want to look that up? Do I really want to? I'm going to. Is it prolonged? Okay, yes, gotcha. Oh, it's Viagra, basically. It's a condition that causes Viagra, as it were. But it is usually painful. An uncommon condition overall, it occurs commonly in certain groups, such as people who have sickle cell anemia. Okay. Okay, good to know. Wait. I clicked off the thing, and now I have to click back on it so that I can see the other things. Okay, there we go. Is there such a thing as too much of a good thing? As long as you keep to Dr. Hayworth's prescribed regimen of 1 pill an hour, you've got nothing to worry about. Resist the temptation to overindulge, because everyone's very good about that. Is it possible to develop a tolerance to Joy? Not at all, but if you entertain the false assumption that your Joy has stopped working, a brief chat with a doctor should sort you out. Was the Joy formulation based on stimulants used by German forces in wartime? No. Nice. I need to take these off for a second. This is where we consult our head to see how it's feeling. As there appeared to have been some minor amount of lightheadedness for a second. Whilst we read about side effects of drugs. Okay. Well. Let us, hang on. Okay, we're gonna try that. Alright. Okay. Healing bomb. Okay. So not up here, probably. We should probably be doing this with a slight bit of urgency as we are looking for bombs. Oh dear.
Well, it's Indian tradition, isn't it? Children go with a father in a divorce.
Not to England, they don't.
Well, Vicky agreed.
Yes, you've taught her weakness.
Anyway, you can't stop me.
I think His Highness my father certainly can stop.
You're an unfit mother.
How?
It is my sad duty to inform you that you are to be arrested for spying for the Indian independence movement.
No, as if you haven't known that for years. Why do you want to take her to England?
Because she's mine.
And I'm leaving you. No. You were such a dashing lieutenant. Now, you're just a tragic, dull bureaucrat. No.
Vicky, you've been spying on us.
Darling, why don't you go off and play? I need to call your father some rather nasty names.
Oh man. Not terribly surprising that that was the interaction, but you know.
Wasted manpower, this is. Her own home is the last place a clever clogs like this Bing would run to.
Yeah, you're right. What fool would return to their own home? Not heading up here, are you? Okay, yeah, there's a way down that way, which I may wish to avail myself of. Okay. Just trying to get a sense of the, you know, where they like to stand. Because that's gonna become important. Yeah. Yeah, heading down the stairs is probably not a great idea. Yeah. Not those stairs. These stairs, on the other hand, probably a slightly better idea. Wasn't there like a secret passageway of something in here, or am I imagining it? I'm probably imagining it. Also, there were secret passageways everywhere, in every freaking place. I can't remember. Okay. No bombs yet. We've set up a conductor in here for something. Probably might open that side door. I might not need it just yet. As I recall, I wasn't able to get out any of these doors, out that door earlier anyway. Anna was here as Ali. Okay. Okay. So he sort of dodges and doesn't enter this room, which is good. Because that will be important. Oh, look. That's two of them. It's kind of facing this direction, isn't it? Oh, no. Nope, no one's here. You don't see me. Woolner? Hey, how's it going? Can use these, yeah. Okay, there's the third explosive. Before I pick up the third explosive, I'm going to take care of a couple of things. Because, you know, we'll need to be able to get in and out fairly quickly. And I should like to deal with the, the constabulary first. Or at least this one, because, you know, more will always show up. Oh, crap. Might actually have to fight this one. Well, there we go. Just let it play. Okay. Healing bomb, there we go. So hoping there would be more things in here. There were a couple of things. Alright. They have really been ransacking the place. Okay, or someone has. Yeah. So, hang on. The cops were out here and they didn't see the very obvious explosives. That's just curious. Oh well.
You'll never get a bright, shiny medal, Johnny. But you deserve one.
Aw.
Now, I just need the plans from your safe house.
Fair point. Okay. Find the plans in Johnny's safe house. Johnny may have been a crack-up, but damn if he wasn't right all along. Yeah. Damn it if he wasn't right all along. So, you have to go to his safe house. Where is his safe house? Oh, I know where his safe house is. It's behind that big neon sign. We can find it in town. That's where he said the plans were. Okay. Well, here we go. There we go. Catching up. Excellent. Okay, where to? I guess probably that way. Because it stands open now, and perhaps it did not before. Or is that the direction we came from? That might be the direction we came from. Nope. Apparently not. I don't remember these things. It does look like she has a stalker, doesn't it? Why do we have a stalker? Yeah. Our stalker is called the Wellington Wells Constabulary. Okay. Alright. Back to Waterloo. TVs can detect downers with shocking consequences. Yep.
Johnny's plans are up there in the haberdasher's attic. Cleverly hidden behind that gigantic bright neon sign.
Fair point. Let's see. Before we dive here, let me see. I think the timing is such, he says, looking at his tea. Now is the time for me to put the kettle back on so that I can refresh the existing tea. So 1 second, I will be right back. See, the thing with the tea is that I have to do this mathematical formula almost to work this out, because the teapot that I purchased to replace another teapot that was very awkward and horrifying in many ways in its design is only holds like 2 1/3 cups, 2 1/3 mugs OT, and so if I want more than that, then I have to actually like reheat the kettle and pour more in, and hope that the tea bag hasn't dissipated too much, which, given the timing, I don't think it necessarily has yet. But, you know, it is somewhat weakened. Granted, I could just get another tea bag because, you know, It's my tea. I'm an adult, and I can consume it as quickly as I want. But I know I feel as though I should try to preserve it. So I have another teapot that is in fact on its way, which is capable of holding more of these. 5, it says. So that then it will no longer be a problem. At least that's what we hope. So that the tea leaves can dissipate throughout that much water all at once instead of having to do it half and half. So we shall see. Decadence! Scandal! Yes! I know, right? The sheer decadence! I am but a wastrel. Okay. Johnny may have been a crack up, but damn it if he wasn't right all along. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? Alcoves! I know. Scandal alcoves. I do enjoy playing that character. But I digress. Too much of us is scandalous. But Johnny may have been a crack up, but damn if he wasn't right all along. Yes, the something that I kind of almost want is if they did another. I know they're not going to. This is the last DLC. But I keep imagining to myself, would it not be awesome if they did another one where you actually play as Johnny? And you actually find out more about what that backstory was. I mean, it's more misery and all that, but, you know, he's off his rocker. But, at this point, anyway. Oh, no. No. That's not good. That's not good at all. We're not sure what their deal is right now, but we're a little concerned. And they're not terribly happy. They're probably not terribly happy with me in particular. So yeah, let's avoid them for now. I'm trying to figure out. I see this officer is being smart. He is standing in front of a bush, so I cannot in fact sneak up on him. And it is worrisome. Congregations are worrisome things. Don't mind me. Just wandering over this way. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay. You may hear a tea kettle going off. Perhaps we should do something about that. Let's. Un momento, por favor. Hello. Alright. Back to this. One day, we shall, One day we shall actually sort out these things. Okay. I can get over to the tower if I want to. But I'm trying to remember what's around here. Yeah, there wasn't anything in the tower last I was there. I don't remember this being here last time, but, you know, who knows. The architecture appears to be slightly altered. I'm not sure if I have that right or not. Ah, a jubilator, okay. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm up here. I didn't realize they had a jubilator down there. So there is a neon sign. Huh. Oh, the square. Okay. It's a completely different neon sign from the one that I was thinking about. Alright. Okay, there's a rope. Wow, that's a bit far. Here we go. Yay! Ah. Yeah, it signs up there. You can't read it. All right. All right. Let's close the window for a second. Whilst we're clambering around up here, so that we are not seen. Not that we will be, but you know. The way this interface works. Please be legible. Here's the plans. Before we pick up the plans, let us check some things. There's this radio. Oh, that's the radio where he was sending those transmissions from A. Healing bomb. Huh. Okay, that'll be the way out. Shall we turn on this radio? Sure. Oh, is that Bolton? I don't know.
And all along, Mad Johnny Bolton was doing the only sensible thing, while I sipped tea and popped pills.
Yeah, funny that. Oh, we've stumbled across a quest that is the name of the DLC. So I feel as though we're getting close to the end. Enter Haworth Labs. Verloc will have the place sewn up tight. Don't worry, Mother. I'll be extra careful. Top secret clearance. My eyes only. Enclosed plans are highly sensitive and important and special and critical to the success of the Underlord Burning Bright plan. Keep under most secure guard. No peeking. Down with Verloc. Down with the Tigers. Freedom for Wellington Wells. I'm very curious about what the Tigers are because I don't know if I'm familiar with those. It's an interesting question. Okay. There's something I can check here, though. Just in case. Looking at the messaging for different things, I just want to make sure. Okay, we're good. All right. Yes. D. Okay. All right. Is this playing music? Let's not alert anyone. Okay. Now. couple different ways we could go here. Oh, I remember that. Okay. Yeah, okay. Haworth Labs. I can't remember where that is. I mean, I could run and jump and try to get up on that. But I feel as though we're probably supposed to head this way. I'm gonna go ahead and do it this time instead of sneaking around looking for stuff. Yea, though I would desire a bunch of stuff. But we'll be okay. Yeah, the only thing I haven't picked up yet, in terms of upgrades, is I think we have disarming, and I think that's and proper conduct. So, yeah. Well, both of those could kind of come in handy. I don't feel like either of them are critical. So, interesting. Little area over there. Probably not supposed to go that way, though. Can't. There's a platform I can't dance on. Okay. Alright. Can't dance around on it. And do stuff. Alright. Want to jump up and down. Okay. Don't mind me. It's behaving strangely. Okay. Alright, here we go. Can't sneak up on these folks because, you know, they are what they are. I was going to finish him off with the whip, but I see there is someone else there, and I want to minimize the chance of being seen. There we go. Alright. Goes unconscious in a dance move. Okay, lots of plague wastrels over there. Let's see what's over here. Yeah. Just puts us back in the same direction, doesn't it? This was just another way to come around, wasn't it? Yeah, this was where that gang was. I used to know what they were called. I've forgotten what the name of the gang is. I'm going to remind myself because, darn it, this is practically it. And there's a thing. The head boys. The head boys are the plowboys. We don't. Oh, there are two gangs. Okay. Plowboys is a gang made up of wellies encountered in We Happy Few. They're only present in Hamlin Village. The head boys are a group of wastrels that have banded together to form a large criminal outlaw. Okay, these are the head boys. Okay. Criminal gang and our major antagonist group in We Happy Few. Their members patrol the streets of the Garden District, and they have a base of operations on Barrow Home, where they force people to fight in an arena. And they have that, they have that emblem there. That tells us that they are the head boys. Okay. Let me go ahead and actually get my my screen back. The plowboys do not appear to have a battle standard of any kind. They just write graffiti. Okay. Then it says Plowboy Republic. Doggone it. Now, there are actual coppers here. Alright, well, they're not yet. There's the potential for them to be here. Ah, right. Okay. I mean, we cleared this out earlier, but why not take another look around? Okay, and that leads back down to the square. Okay. See, Plowboy Republic, that's the, that's where they, that's just the graffiti that they use. That's not from the bell end tolls. Oh, God. Oh, okay, no, they've set it up as a dartboard. These are the Plowboys. Okay, I understand now. This is the Head Boys logo on a dartboard. Okay, I understand now. Unfortunately, that helps me not at all with these folks. Alright. Like, there's really no reason to be overly concerned about fighting these people, but you know. One wishes to be able to deal with these things, not have them sneaking up on us. Alright. Okay. Anything interesting in here? Yes, no. I mean, I think, again, we cleared this place out earlier, but, like, in the story, but, Okay. Yes, okay. Okay, yeah, so this was open before, and they have since shuttered it. So, and I feel like we're gonna have to come across this way. Okay, gotcha. Let's do that. Anyone down there? I don't see anyone, so I probably will not need to turn on the electricity. Around any new stuff? No. We could use the switch, but thing is, if we do that, that just electrifies it down there and makes it much more difficult for us, so let's not do that. Because there's no need. Or we could just go directly there. Alright. For a moment I thought that might be clever, but no. This was a dead end. Which I should perhaps have remembered from earlier. And we have to get higher up, higher up. Where do we go? Where do we go? Is it back up this way? Let's see. Ah, here we are. Okay. There we are. Okay, yes. So this... Yes, okay. See, I didn't see that rope the first time I was out here. There we are. Now we actually get to use it.
You wouldn't want me to run out of a job, would you?
Where are you? Where is this conversation happening?
And once in a while, there's a little bit of red in the stick. And a bit of a lumpy.
These symptoms do not sound good.
Oh, and I've been having a bit of difficulty moving my legs. I just feel a tad chilly.
We salty few. Yeah.
I'm talking of. Every time I try to stand up, I feel it. No one to call me.
I wish I could hear this better.
Oh, I really do hate to be such a bother.
Miracle cure. Let's just roll up the old sleeve.
Oh, ouchie!
There you are.
Oh, doctor, that's wonderful.
Oh dear.
I feel ever so much better. Why, I could get up and done. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I feel wonderful.
There's nothing going on here. Delighted I could do so.
Lovely day for it.
Oh my god. That's delightfully horrifying. Okay. I can't jump on these crates. Oh, there we go. I mean, maybe? No. Okay, so guess I've got to find another direction here because let's see. Oh, hi. All right. Let's see. No. Okay, so we can't go that way. I thought for a bit we could. I don't know what is that way. No, is that the canal? I don't know where that is. Okay. So I gotta find another way. And I've gotta figure out how to get across to... Yeah. Ah, man. Logistics. Okay. So, I mean, we're gonna walk along this wall now, I guess. Because we're trying to figure out where we're going. So, yeah, that's that pipe that goes across there. But it's not led us anywhere. Where do we need to... Wait a minute. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay. I think I may have just figured it out. Unfortunately, I have to fall. Because what I just figured out is... yeah. Unfortunately, I'm a bit too high up right now. No, bugger. Okay. 54%, okay. Alright, there we go. Took me a second, but I think I know what's going on now. Because look, there's the wire. Remember those things that I always used to feel as though I had to pay attention to? Wait a minute. So it goes through here. And it just frickin' ends here. Okay, never mind. So the thing that I thought I had come up with was involved, you know, it's okay, maybe I have to actually turn on that switch to electrify this for whatever reason. But that's clearly not the case. I'm pretty sure this was the next area we were supposed to hit, but, I mean, sure, why not? Let's make it that much more dangerous for ourselves. Did that do anything? No. So let's see, going across that way did nothing. Have we been wasting our time? Let's get back up here. There's like a possibility of a couple of directions in the first place. I did wonder what was over here, but I don't know if there's anything actually anywhere to go there. No, there isn't, so... Alright. It disturbs me that, that might have been a dead end. Oh well. Shall we try this? So we can't go down that way. That goes to the square. The only thing we can do is just bolt through here. I see. And there's no way to shut it down, is there? And no way to go over, is there? Okay. That's the problem, isn't it? Alright, well, there we are. And there are doctors and stuff out there. This is not going to be fun. Let's get that one at least. Okay. We have created a slightly safer area over there. So I'm going to dash through here because I cannot think of any other way to get through. I haven't found anything through the rooftops that might get us safely through. We're going to run through here, across to the other side, and hope that we don't get electrocuted too badly on the way. Here we go. Alright, so far so good. You can't even hear the alarms anymore. Wait, there it is. You can just barely hear the alarm. And that's the alarm powering down. He hasn't gone far. Yep. This is why it's vitally important to leave the captions on when you do this. I could not hear them. Ah. Okay. I was spotted. There's that glass bottle I wanted to pick up a couple of episodes ago. Alright. Oh, crap. Good job, Constable. Dr. Byron. Oh, is that Haworth? That's Haworth Labs. Okay. Excellent. Oh, hey, is that other place over here that I was thinking about? Who knows? The architecture is all different. Either that or civic beautification in progress. I think possibly it was either through there or I'm imagining it. This area used to be bigger. Okay. Not that I think I'm gonna find much of anything, but sure. Let's look around once more, since they've readjusted things. Just in case there are like some delightful open windows or something that we want to explore. Yes, no, no. Oh, there's one. Okay, it's still turned off. That's the same one we turned off before. Alright. Okay, so no worries here. Alright. That's all, just wanted to be thorough. Okay, here we go. Alright. We're a terrible aim with this. Seem. Got him. All right. Here we go. bring joy to the world since 1953. Okay. Traps. Oof. That doesn't look difficult at all. Okay. Let me actually attempt to use my brain slightly. Nope, it's too much of a strain. No, let me see here. Okay, we have... Okay, so what we have 3 on this little thingy. We have 3 lasers going back and forth, 3 beams going back and forth. They're not exactly lasers because they don't slice us in half. 3 beams going back and forth. 1 I will need to get over. 2 I will need to get under. They're on a... Yeah. So it looks like... And they're moving at different rates, which is fun. Just run through them and take the damage. There's like a point where it's going to be... Yeah. It's not that much damage. Or we can just shoot it. Okay, shooting the alarm doesn't help. Shooting that would have taken those beams out, though. That's good to know. I didn't have to take that 5%. Alright. So much paperwork has been generated. Alright, here we go. Do I even know what I'm... I have plans, but, I don't know what they actually say. Well, here we go. England expects every man.
Attention all staff! Miss Bing is running amok in this factory. Doctor, stop that! Miss Bing, what if you're... What if their sense of hope is the only thing keeping them alive?
Not dying, probably important. He's actually blocking. So much for being quiet. Alright, I suppose we should find out what these other doors are. Real quick. Healing bomb, good. How are we doing? 60%, okay. Checking around in case there's anything we might want. Which there is. Stuff is like gold! Gold, I tell you! Right. Anything up here? Whoa. Okay. Nope, can't open it. Alright. Well, never mind. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Go ahead and open the boiler room up real quick. In case there's anything in there of use. Yeah, we've been all through here. All around and through here. We didn't have the gun then. So we couldn't just go wherever we wanted. I don't need to crawl through the ducts right now. Okay. Or, you know, maybe I do need to crawl through the ducts. We'll see.
Are you really going to punish Storm to save your guilty conscience?
Ah! Good lord. Okay, not dying is rather important right now. Ah! Knock him out again. Dr. Byron. Okay. Good lord. Alright. Fabulous. Jesus Christ. No point in going out there. Because they're gonna keep getting zotted.
I won't have it.
Good lord. Okay. Yep, there we are again. Alright. More healing bomb! Just trying to find places where we don't... We're not gonna get hit with that stuff.
I won't have it.
This is probably where I was supposed to be all along. Up here. Or not. Ah, great. Turn off those freaking lasers, man. Got it. Well, we got one. Right, bacon. Well done. Okay, got another one. Another one. Ah. Okay. Is that all of them? I think that's all of them. Okay. Place the bombs. All right. We're lucky to have the place sent up tight. Don't worry, Mother. I'll be extra careful. Another trip up the river. Only this time, my Kurtz is much well protected. If Johnny's plans are right, and there's no guaranteeing they are, this should bring down the entire factory. Great. Now I just have to figure out where to put the charges, right? Okay. Oh, for goodness sake. Stubbs, how's it going? Thank you. Welcome to the party. Alright. Requires power. Okay. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, let's not worry about this too much right now. Exhaust. Place explosive.
Are you going to destroy your father's life's work? Will that finally make him proud of you?
Yep. Let me look for other places to leap to. Get higher up, perhaps? Hope I gave myself enough time, because I'm going to need some. Figure this out. Huh. Okay, so I can't jump up here. If I jump down... Oh, crap. Oh, never mind. It's gonna take for freaking ever. Need to find good places to put everything. Power room. I don't remember how we got in there before. I think we ended up leaping up higher on things that are no longer in this room, so yeah, probably not supposed to do that at this point. Okay. No power. All right. Next bit of dashing around. Yeah, this was not helpful at all. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, nowhere, nowhere. Yeah, that's not going to work out terribly well. Give us a moment. We gotta stun one of the bobbies. Because we can't seem to find the right way up. So we're just going to make it easier for ourselves when we get back down there. Not really hiding too much. Alright. Let's wait for him to dash back out, and there we go. Yes. Granted, this process takes a little while, but much easier to do than having to fight them on the same level. Okay. Watch as we find a workaround. Ah, Jesus. Okay. Yes, almost there. Let them go unconscious. Just knock him unconscious. Real quick. Come on. Fall asleep. Fall asleep. Fall asleep. Okay. Alright. Okay. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, never mind. We're just gonna have to jump for it. Oh, okay. So there's no point. There's no point. Okay. There will always be a couple of bodies down there. All right. So now instead of that tactic, let's wait for them to calm down. Ish. And we'll get back down there. Do you really see me? No. I didn't think so. Let's come down at the far end of the room here. Oh. Alright, well. How are we doing? 60. Alright. This room was very handy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right, okay. Oh, there's one. Okay.
Go on, then. Do it. Tear it all down. You'll
Sure.
be so much better. That's the only thing that's important, isn't it?
I feel like you know me, Verloc. Oh, okay.
I always did wonder if you'd end up a downer yourself. Has it occurred to you that the problem all this time might be you?
No, never. Why would I? That would require self-reflection. Why would I do that? Okay, placed all three. Yes, Mother, I'll get to a safe distance before I set them off. Alright. So now we must get out somehow. Ah! Ah!
Vicky! Run!
Okay. This is very exciting. Lots of running around. Have to run to the roof, it says, which is... Looks like that's going to be a bit of a problem. We have 2 minutes. to get to the roof. I feel as though that's going to be terribly intense. So, before we start that, I'm going to refresh my tea one more time. Since I should actually now go ahead and pour some in here. It'll be just a moment. Just a moment. Ah, hello. We are about to go into the final stretch here, I'm pretty sure. Hi. Okay. So, run to the roof, it says. So, I'm going to presume it's not going to be possible to get out through the flames here. Yes, I suppose I should be grateful they worked at all. They worked at all, but now I should run for my life, shouldn't I? All right.
No! Right work! Right work!
I'm just like running into the flames for no good reason. Okay. Now, I don't have long. This is probably actually going to be more properly titled Watch Me Die Several Times while I figure out how to get to the roof. Ah! Ah! Okay. Okay. Did we in fact make it? We don't know. Get to a safe distance. I'm almost there. Okay. What is a safe distance? Oof. Let's go ahead and... This base is on fire! This base is on fire. Alright. Actually got that through that a little bit better than I thought I would, which is good.
There's that.
There it is.
Victoria. Find her!
She killed the joy! She blew up Haworth Labs!
There it is.
Oh God, the little shoe!
Oh god. Here it is. They're remembering. The little shoes, that quote came up in the main game. Here's Uncle Jack's final broadcast. Okay. Look for survivors. Oh, I don't have anything. Well, I've got the whip apparently, but things are not going well. Oof. Oh no.
I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, this is probably going to be more grim than everything else. Looks like she's having a little trouble. Tea room, you see, that was the neon sign that I was thinking of initially. Ah, but this is not the square. Oh, man. Yeah, no jumping right now either, so... trying to find survivors. I'm not seeing any.
Where is everyone? Have they all gone?
What's left for them?
besides unhappy memories?
Masks. All gone. Doctors. Oh, there are people. You're not going to be too happy to see me, I don't think. But there we are.
Oh, look. It's Miss Bing. Lovely day for it, Miss Bing.
We know what you did. I did what had to be done.
What gives you the right?
What gives you the right?
You were all going to starve to death.
My brother did die.
The bobbies hit him a little too hard.
You lot told us everything was fine. You told us to pretend it was.
We all wanted to pretend. Don't you remember?
We're all leaving. There's nothing left here.
You can go wherever you like.
Just not with us.
But I saved them.
They may never forgive you for that.
What else could I have done?
You don't always get a bright, shiny medal for doing your duty.
What did you say?
Great.
That's what I always used to tell your father. Come back to India, Vicky. You miss me. And I'm probably still alive.
Goodbye, Mother. I hope you'll be proud of me.
Oh, man. Well, ends on a rather grim note, but then I guess it kind of had to. Wow. And there we are. The final roll of the credits. Oh, jeez. Okay. I don't know. I kind of expected there to be a little bit more to the final coda there. It was mostly just, a bunch of people saying "screw you," and you're like, "Oh, great, okay." So that's where he got that saying from. Fabulous, wonderful, and then maybe go to India, maybe not, maybe just just sort of standing there in the ruins. Not that I was expecting anything, bright and cheery, and not that I was expecting there to be any. Not that I was expecting, her to find some reward, but it sort of leaves it at a point where it's like, okay, I really haven't. I don't know if she resolved everything that. Congrats, thank you. I don't know if Victoria resolved everything she needed to resolve, but then to be fair, she had the most to resolve, and that kind of stuff, even just realistically, doesn't heal in a matter of days. It's not something you can just do over a couple of days, whilst you're wandering through, running around the rooftops, blowing things up and what have you. Oh my God. It's an interesting choice, especially this is very much a down note, especially, but I think that's makes a decent contrast to the up note that was the ending of Lightbearer, which was very grim up until that. It just sort of starts semi-happy and silly, and just gets more and more grim as you go through. This is sort of sail through in this You sail through Uncharon's boat, basically, in the, as for levels of grimness here. Just kind of throughout this, this entire DLC. Trying to fix the horrible thing that you've done. A Grim Fandango, indeed. I've never actually played Grim Fandango. I need to do that sometime soon. The computer game, but rather than the saying. But anyway, that's where the one takes its name from, though. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, yeah. How many times can we say anyway in a sentence? I don't know. So yeah, no, this was good, though. I think I enjoyed it. Victoria DLC. Which is what they're... I guess that's... They didn't change the credits to We All Fall... Okay. Catherine Kingsley, Stephen Boxer, Litana, Maya Sunday. That's, I think, newly chosen for this. Tony Verloc, Michael Schaefer, I think, same ones. For Young Victorian, Johnny Bolton, Ollie Starkey, you hear briefly at the beginning. Constable Burne-Jones and Uncle Jack was Julian Casey. You got to hear him briefly. He was Burne-Jones. Joe Sims, Smith Lee. Okay. It was interesting. It was interesting. A lot of these people have names and I didn't realize who they were, so I actually have to think about it. Oh. Yeah, there's possible. I'm wondering if that... I have to go back and check, but I'm wondering if there was a... As you may recall, with a few episodes ago, there was... This is a random thought, right? I was just looking through the cast. There was a... when we went and we took out the gang before... we... in that one point, there were talking to someone who did not appear to be a gang member. There was a lady there. And it's just occurred to me, she might have been dressed kind of the same way as that reporter acquaintance of Arthur's, whom we get to see who the doctors take at some point during his story, and then I believe she escapes from below the labs, below Haworth Labs. I think that's where they take her. And put her in the same area as Haworth. Some of the glass cells. And so that might have been her. That might have been meant to be her. I don't know. I have to go back and check that. Wow. So that's another, actually, that reporter, by the way, that's another character that would have made an interesting perspective character, just to see what her story would have been. Wow. So this has been a heck of a journey. I did like the DLC. I think the part of it that was my favorite part was the third dimension part of it, the running around using the whip to get high up and fit off the different pulleys. That was fun. I liked the story. I liked that that the way this was set up reminded me the most of the main game, because I missed the main game. But I think of the 3 DLCs, my favorite is still probably Lightbearer. This was a very poignant story, and it was very cool. I just felt that I felt like the ending, while I agree with everything that happened as far as the ending was, as far as, she gets brushed off, because she should. Because of everything she's been responsible for. That was exactly, that was, the reactions they had to her, that was just fine. But I feel like there should have been a little bit more to tell us, what her next step is, instead of just sort of leaving it there on a question, which I understand that is a popular way to end things. Often it's a valid way to end things. But I just feel like comparatively, when you're looking at the other endings, I don't know if it's quite as strong an ending. It's subtler, certainly. There's some subtleties in there where it's like she's realizing and figuring things out about both her parents at the very end. That should make a difference, but what those actually mean are not really, and what those are going to mean to her, aren't really gone into. And I think you still could have ended with a bit of an enigma, but I kind of would have liked to have at least seen, maybe if it could have just been like a shot of her looking to leave the city, going somewhere, right? Not just standing outside the labs, or the standing in the square. Even if it had been just her climbing up the freaking tower and looking out over the square again, and then they could have done that long shot. Maybe her making some kind of decision would have been nice. Where she kind of realized... I wanted her to realize... I mean, she seemed to be realizing sort of over time the difficulty with what she did, but she was still kind of trying to explain, she was still, sort of explain what it was, and then just sort of letting it sink in, I think, would have been nice. And just sort of the realization that they're gonna hate you for the fact that you let them survive, but at least they're gonna be alive, right? So I mean, some additional little thing would have been nice. And it could have still, we still could have ended on a question of what she was going to do next. Which with most of these, we don't get a definitive, we are going in this direction, necessarily thing. We get sort of some sort of hint that she might try to go back to India. Her mother might still be alive. And in this timeline, I'm curious about what happened to India, because, her mother tried to take over the country, and there's a line even earlier on that where she's talking to the image of her mother, saying that something she did won her a country. And I'm just sort of wondering if, obviously this wouldn't have happened before Victoria left India, but I wonder if she had heard something at some point that would have led her to think that, for that image of her mother to tell her that she had actually won the country. So that's something I'm curious about. So yeah, I think, and those are not necessarily questions we need to have absolutely answered, but it is something to wonder about. All the different things, how this world was different in other places besides England. So yeah, that is all of the DLC for We Happy Few. And this third one was bittersweet throughout, and I'm sure that was what they were going for. And I think I liked it more than I liked it. I liked it well enough. And the sad thing, unfortunately, now is that we are at the end of our time. It is we have come to the end of our time. This is all over. I don't know if they're ever going to do a sequel. I don't know if I don't know if the game did well enough for them to consider doing that. They got very quiet about it, after this DLC was released. This felt like the very last thing. And I know that at some point, I think that the company they ended up working with, was it Gearbox? They got eaten by Microsoft, basically, is what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure I recall hearing I recall them saying at some point that they joined Microsoft. So I don't know if the company is ever going to operate independently again. Or what they're... I don't know even what they're working on. They haven't said, I don't think, unless someone else has heard something. But yeah, Compulsion is, I think, now part of Microsoft. So who knows what they're going to be tasked to do at this point. I mean, this game was made with the aid of a Kickstarter in the first place, so a lot of the money they made on it was up front. And then, you know, minus anything they had to pay back because it took so long because of the development cycle. But I am going to miss it. So, while I hope that perhaps one day they'll do more with it, I don't expect them to. I'm curious to see if they do something else next. If the studio is allowed to continue. If Microsoft allows the studio to work on something else next. Of their own creation. Because this was fun. It was imaginative. It ripped off a lot from different sources. You know, I knew the ways in which it had already, you know, it had borrowed from Brazil in 1984, and then not too long ago I watched the series of The Prisoner, and I saw that I saw the connections there, and I was like, oh, okay, this is heavily influenced by The Prisoner. And so I guess I kind of wonder. So I think something I am going to do sometime soon is I probably will go back through and play the game, just the main game again, because when I started it, it hadn't gotten all of its updates yet. It was, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago? I can't even remember how long ago it was. And, 2018. Yeah, so, I got it, I think, not too horribly long after it came out. It was after it came out, because I didn't get on I wasn't on the Kickstarter. That was a lot of fun. And I miss visiting this world, and perhaps I shall go back and visit it again in a replay at some point. I don't know if I'll stream it. Probably going to go run around in arcade mode at some point, and I think I might just do that offline, just when I'm feeling like I need to play something. But I shall miss this a great deal. Theater. Now I'm not gonna get into all these, but I'm wondering how many of these I collected. I got 51 out of the 89 collectibles. So apparently, these are, I assume, all of the Uncle Jack videos. How to recognize and treat scurvy. Well. See, these are delightful. I'm not going to display them all right now. I'm not going to display any of them right now. But it's nice. It's neat to see them here. Oh, okay, and then it also has the flashbacks. Cool, okay. So we actually can go back and watch these. I'll probably do that at some point. I don't know if I will do it as like some sort of odd event. Or if I'll just do it on my own. Because there's a lot of freaking content here. There's a lot of content here. I might actually think about doing it as some sort of like event or other, you know, probably on like just with a few friends or something. Or on the Discord or something like that. We'll figure it out. Okay. Well, that's very cool. We've got, out of the 89, we found 51, so there's 38 left to unlock. So I might go back and replay the game for that. There might be some that got put in there after I, that I missed because of when I started. But this has been very cool. and I'll go back and I will investigate these various other options later. But now we must talk a little bit about the future. The future. So let's see. I think that I'll take these off again for a moment, as there's been a head pressure thing going on recently. I think that this game, I enjoyed the world of this game a lot. I have had some thoughts about doing like a tabletop RPG campaign, not necessarily entirely based on it, but sort of inspired by it. Because there are some things I've seen that might be possible. The future is always better tomorrow. Oh yeah. Yeah, certainly. But no, I've had thoughts about running like an RPG campaign using some of the themes here. I'm thinking of using the fugue system, which was what we used for our campaign of what is the rule set for the campaign we did of Las Vegas, which was it uses tarot cards, and it uses blackjack also, because you're playing blackjack with tarot cards. That's some of the resolution system. But there are points where the point of that is that you are you have lost like most of your memories, and there's a mechanic for recovering the memories when certain cards come up, or just giving flashbacks to other players or having flashbacks yourself. And I think that part of that system would be very interesting for a setup like this, set up for a world like the world of We Happy Few, for this kind of dystopia. So, and I've been knocking around thoughts in my head about it for a little while, so about the possibility of recovering memories, or doing something where, so in a society like for the We Happy Few society, you can take pills and start forgetting things again. So I've had thoughts about sacrificing memories to overcome problems, as a possible mechanic to introduce for that. Because you then lose the skill associated with that if you give that up, but it's voluntary. And something where there would be some world building at the outset. You know how I do if you watch this. I always do world building up front, so there would be a thing where it's like, it's not necessarily this setting. I don't want to do something that's quite exactly on the nose as being this exact setting. It's because I don't want to have to try and cater to it too closely. I loved this setting, the setting of this game, but there are parts of it that I don't want to have to deal with in an RPG context, necessarily. So I kind of, and I'm not even talking themes, I'm talking details to a certain extent, but the themes of it, I think, though, would be great for something. So I've had thoughts about doing that. Don't know if I'd keep the same tarot card mechanics or not. You were doing, a friend of yours was doing a We Happy Few inspired Curse of Strahd for a while. That sounds awesome. I would love to hear more about that sometime when you have time. Because that sounds very cool. There are a lot of different things. There are a lot of people reskinning Strahd these days. Recently I had thoughts about, just a tangent for a moment, I had thoughts about I've been reading this PBTA game called, what the hell is it called? My brain is fried. That's not what it's called. it was a. I've been looking at a PBTA game about basically starting a revolution, and in a way, I'm going to very quickly find it here so that I can remember what it's called. Comrades, that's what it's called. And it's basically it's very much kind of a. It talks about Russian revolutions, things of that nature, but it's about sort of trying to, form a party to overcome a government, that kind of thing, overcome an oppressive fascist government. And I thought about applying something like that to Barovia or something like that. And see if it was like the villagers are the ones that actually rise up and destroy Strahd. And then I had another absolutely terrible idea, which is to hack one particular indie game to have everyone is Strahd, and that's the different people that he's drunk over the centuries, their personalities well up, and control what Strahd does. That would be a very silly game. But anyway, enough of that tangent. No, I think that I think it would be interesting to do to do something with the fugue system, or a variant on the fugue system at least, with some few things changed up. I try to retain some of the. We'd retain the themes. There'd probably be some world building stuff at the beginning where we try to define, okay, your society has done something terrible. Perhaps your character has done something marginally terrible, and you have forgotten about it. But you can, over time, if you. But the society has provided everyone with a means to forget, and is trying to enforce that in its populace. And you get to choose how much you want to try and remember. And then you have. And then you have sort of a caste thing where you have insiders and outsiders, like you do in here. You have the village and the garden, right? The villagers and the wastrels. But that the specifics of those things would be defined, by the players. They'd sort of figure out more about what sort of setting it actually is, what the where it is, what the dichotomy is, what the thing is, what the terrible thing is that they did, or at least hinting at the terrible thing is that society did, because they wouldn't necessarily start out remembering what the terrible thing is, and just sort of go from there. So it's a thing in the back of my mind. Something I'd kind of like to do sometime soon. I don't know when, but relatively soon. So what other things are happening relatively soon? Well, I think, now that I've gotten to the end of this, I think I may be ready finally to try and tackle the end of Frostpunk. It is not going to go well, I don't think. But it is a thing I started, and it is a thing I should probably finish. I played Endless Mode for quite a while, offline, and it gave me a greater understanding of how the resources work. And so, now knowing that, and looking back at where I was in the story of Frostpunk in the main game, I have come to realize, only 6 days to get a certain amount of supplies. I think it is a doomed effort, probably, but I should probably also give it a try, just to see, just to ride the thing all the way to the end, and see what happens. See if it's at all salvageable. It's likely to be very grim, so we'll see. So that might be next. Probably will be very short, as far as video games on this channel go. I should at some point try to get back to Numenera. Tides of Numenera. Torment, Tides of Numenera, that's it. Because we just sort of stopped halfway through that. part of the reason why it was I sort of despaired every time I tried to start it up again before was because I kind of knew that there was abject failure coming up, dealing with the sorrow, which a direct manifestation of the sorrow, which I would have to play through again. But I didn't get too far into that, so I mean that's fine. But then there's a bunch of flashbacks that happened before that, so I think I saved it just before that point. But I think I've had enough time has passed now that perhaps I will not be as despairing. We'll see. So we'll think about it. We'll see if we dive back into that, because I would very much like to complete the things that I started on this channel, if at all possible. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see if we do that soon. Of course, there's always a chance I might just jump to something else for a while as a palate cleanser. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There are plenty of other games. Plenty of other games I have sitting waiting to just set up, games that I bought ages ago, and I just have to download and activate. Some I've already downloaded. I just have to activate them and actually get to them. It would be nice. So we'll see. I'll think about it, and we'll see kind of what I want to do. Maybe I'll even start doing them on Saturday mornings again. We'll see. Although I kind of like just doing it whenever I feel like it. That's also been kind of nice and therapeutic. This game has been actually kind of therapeutic for me in a way. Because it sort of has reminded me of... It reminds me of things I have nostalgia for, as, evidenced as I was sort of talking about it last time. And sort of things in British media, but also just in general, sort of like... I sometimes miss times before the internet was what it is today. Which sort of running around this version of the 60s reminded me of. And so it's like I came to the realization a little while ago. It's like, perhaps I should just be using the internet to supplement my in-person visits with people instead of replacing them. At a time when there is no pandemic. That actually is kind of the important thing. Right now we're going to continue to replace because pandemic. But I think once that's over, I'm definitely going to need to get out and see people. Which is a thing that I kind of stopped doing for quite a while, even before the pandemic. But it's a thing I think for my mental health I'm going to need to do. This is, it's kind of funny, really, though also, and I mentioned this last time as well, that when you have a game and you start it and it's just this wild trip through this dystopia, and then real life becomes almost more of a dystopia than this dystopia. This dystopia in We Happy Few is almost like preferable, because at least there are drugs, or something along those lines. But yeah, they supply healthcare to everyone. But then again, this is the life we have. This is the life we must deal with. But that was kind of interesting. It's like, it's telling when the outside world is something you decide you escape into a dystopian game. You get away from by escaping into a dystopian game. It's a thing. So anyway. So it was something I was not expecting this game to provide, but I'm very glad that it did. So, I think I have rambled for long enough. Let us chat for a second about what else is happening in the immediate future. So, on this channel, we tonight, as I said earlier, we are not actually doing. We're not doing a game tonight. We're not playing Witch Hunt tonight because there was a scheduling issue, unfortunately, with someone rather key to the whole thing, and so we were like, okay, well we have to sort that out, and so it sort of came up. Unfortunately, someone's work called them in. It's like, okay, well we'll hold off. So right now we're looking at doing that a week from today. So concluding Witch Hunt, which is once again a game where we're all playing witches in Salem in the 1690s. No, not in Salem. Sorry, I keep saying that. It's in a city not far from Salem. It's in Massachusetts, but where the witch hunts are just about to get started. This little town, and so you know that's something that's been interesting so far, especially the approach Taylor's taking with it. I'm enjoying that a lot. It's an interesting take on it, and so I'm gonna, because it's about it. He's using it to highlight abuse of power, which is it's very. I mean, that was definitely a thing going on at the time, and something that I think needs to be highlighted right now. Very much abuse of power is something you need to think about. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting back to that in a week. Before that, Saturday I'm over on Prax's channel, Praxagora Thesmophoria, that evening, playing in her game of The Regiment, which is a game where we're all playing British officers in one of the Napoleonic Wars. We're down in Spain, fighting the French. And that's been fun because it's essentially a cross between Sword Chronicle and Good Society. So there's plenty of scandalous stuff going on. We have a whole alcove for it, you may have heard. So that's going to be fun. On Sunday night we have our regular game of Dark Matter run by Alyssa, which is a lot of fun. We've had sort of fantasy creatures in space. Fantasy-powered sci-fi. We've been dealing with the hulk of a ship that we just quite suddenly one of us just opened up all the doors on the ship and let everything loose that's inside that ship, and now we get to find out the things that are inside that ship. So that's going to be very entertaining. Getting back to that. Hey, and. That's it mostly. That's it right now. I'm hoping before the month is out that I get to announce sign-ups for a game that I want to run next. I still have a process I have to finish before, just sorting out some safety stuff and then finishing reading the book and finishing out sort of plans for how I want to do the mini campaign. So we're getting closer, and announcements will be happening soon. Hopefully. Just got some more stuff I got to go over. And I'm taking my time with it because, once again, bandwidth, time management. And just kind of get to things. Because this is, as delightful as all this is, I also have to think about the whole life thing. As this is a glorious thing that I have been doing primarily as a hobby. I want to, it's the thing I want to keep doing. But I have to figure out that whole allocation of time thing. One day, perhaps, I'll have it figured out. Don't know when, but maybe someday. Well, folks, I think that's going to do it. I think that's gonna just about do it. So, that is where we shall conclude. I thank you all very much for watching this. This game has been a delight. The joy of this game has been provided not only in pill form, but in the form of just the genuine happiness that the game causes me. Though there is false happiness within the game itself. It's been wonderful, and I thank you all. For those of you who have come along with me on this journey, I thank you all for accompanying me. I really appreciate it. This has been a blast. But, as we said before, we have come to the end of our time. So, I am out. Thank you all very much. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden.